Plasticon fuel.
In a world like none other, there comes one man in search of plastic, in search of cons. He is known as Plasticon. Join him as he brings toys from another dimension to a household near you.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? Playing a little Game Boy. You know how it goes. Gotta unwind every now and then. We got a stack of them. Anyway, so I had a bunch of listener questions. Gotta check my PC here. Print. Takes forever to print. Oh. Sorry guys, I dozed off there. Yeah, I got them. I got the papers. Let's get on to this Q&A. I've got quite a few people out there that's commented on some of my stuff, and actually I'm going to give a big shout out to all the guys out there that's really been supporting a lot of my work. Thank you very much. It's been a bit hectic lately, especially with all the news reporting and stuff. I mean, you guys don't know how much I can go from the news report. I mean, this dinosaur of a computer, it can barely even hold together half the time. Anyway, let's go on to these listener questions here. We got a few here, and let's see here. First off, a buddy of mine, Josh, he asked me, how did I start my YouTube channel? Well, let's see. I started out my YouTube channel basically, I'm a filmmaker by heart, always have been. When I was growing up, I didn't really have very many cameras and stuff. And if any of you guys went back and watched my my whole thing of Plasticon Studios, my life as a filmmaker, you guys will be able to check that one out. But a lot of it was basically, okay, I've got a bunch of toys. People were doing toy reviews. A chance for me to just build something and do something on my own without anybody's, hesitation or tell me this is wrong, that's wrong, this, that, or the other. But yeah, that's primarily how it all started. I got along with a few friends of mine and we came up with the name. We were kicking around names, what I should call myself, and then somehow Plasticon stuck. And I kind of liked the name. I thought the name was cool because it's I collect toys on top of going to conventions, on top of obviously robots. I like robots. I like wind-up robots. I like Transformers. I like all different kinds of things like that. But that was the main reason why it was started, was primarily because I'm a filmmaker. I had to get my stuff out there, so that's how I started the channel. I had a friend here of mine. He's from the UK, my buddy Rob. And he asked me what combiner teams not yet covered by Combiner Wars would I like to see released. In the Combiner Wars, honestly, I would like to see a lot more of the Beast Formers. I'm one of those kind of people that really would like to see an Abominus. I'd like to see a Predaking, Menasor, and Seacons. I mean, they were all Scramble City, except for Predaking wasn't, but then again, Devastator wasn't, so see what I'm getting at there? Maybe you can make a Plasticon about the size of Devastator, it'd be kind of cool. It'd be really neat to actually see them do something like that. Especially with Titan Wars coming up, I can see them probably doing something weird with like some kind of gigantic robotic animal-like things. I would like to see all those. It's primarily because there's a lot of repaints that they could do, especially if they did, you know, the Seacons. The Seacons actually had several different versions. They had the Takara and the Hasbro releases, which had some differences, and then they had the reissue that had some of the chrome bits. And then you had God Neptune, which was missing one of the 6, but I don't see why they couldn't engineer one or color one to fit that motif for Seacons. Seacons need more love. I like the Seacons. You got G2 Seacon. Well, yeah. Anyway, now that we have Combiner Wars, and now getting in the Titan Returns, do you think we might see a return to Target Masters also? Target Masters, Target Masters, Target Masters. Target Masters, I could see us possibly getting maybe a few more of those, because, I mean, when they released Scoop with 2 official Target Masters. And then they did that United release, which looks more like G2 Roadblock. That has Target Masters. And with all the little teeny tiny things that they're doing with, you know, they took Powerglide and turned him into a Target Master, and some of the small little pseudo Target Masters that came with the Legend figures, I can probably see them maybe dip into a little bit of that. I like the Masters thing. I always have. I've been a big fan of Headmasters, Target Masters, Power Masters, Brain Masters. Big fan of all those. I think it's a really, really cool play pattern. It's really neat. I'm really into that kind of thing. I like stuff like that. Stuff like that's really neat. So, you know, I figured, well, why not? I mean, nothing wrong with that, I guess. Let's see here. He also asked, what do I love most about Generation 2? This is actually my other buddy, Josh, because I got 2 Joshes. They're joshing me, man. Squared. Anyway. Yeah. He also asked the same question. What do I love most about Generation 2? Guys, it's the gimmicks and the colors. It's the gimmicks and colors. Seriously. There's some really cool molds that came out of that line that most people haven't realized. It's just one of those things. I really like G2 because of that. It's been really fun collecting them. I've got so many, it's not even funny. I mean, this whole shelf is like full of like awesome candy Skittle universe, and I had almost all the G1, which I'm going to get into that in a little bit. Yeah, why not? I mean, seriously, I like G2 a lot. It's the colors and the gimmicks. I like the water shooting and the missiles and the discs and just all the weird things that they gave them, instead of just giving them a standard little silver missile that goes in the thing and fires and that's all you get. I mean, water shooting gimmicks, that was a great thing they brought into it. You don't see much of that anymore, and I like that kind of thing. Sparkbot type of thing, I like that too. G1 had it toward the tail end, and they drug some of it to G2. It's awesome. I love it. And honestly, a lot of your posability came out of G2. A lot of people don't realize that, but you guys have Generation 2 to credit for most of the posability of the ball joint thing that come out with the Cyber Jets and Smokescreen that came out of Dreadwing. This guy right here. Tons of ball joints on this guy. He's got a lot of posability. Although the legs weren't the best here and the little hinged portions here, but I mean, I'm going to get on to actually reviewing these guys soon, but yeah, these guys are really posable. And then you got to think about Laser Prime. Laser Prime actually had a lot too. So it's one of those things. I really think it's a big thing a lot of you guys need to think about. G2 you have to thank for a lot of your posability. Rob also asked, one dark question I'm unsure of asking. Describe the Transformers collector nightmare of having to sell off a collection. Any positives as well as negatives. Okay, you guys all know it ordeal where I actually had to sell a lot of my collection off. It was a nightmare. It was not fun selling, and it was a very, very, very negative thing when I first started doing it. Later on, it just became even more saturated with just this feeling of, what am I doing this for? I did a lot of the selling primarily through Facebook. I did some of it on eBay, and I did some of it, word of mouth. I didn't get half of what I probably should have for the entire collection. I ended up making about $3,000 off the whole group. And that was my entire G1 collection. And most of you guys probably just dropped your jaws or, oh my god, what? Yes. Being as a G1 or G2 collector, it's very difficult right now to sell off those collections because everybody has everything. That's one of the big problems with it right now. It's not one of those things that you're just going to, oh, I'm going to go sell my whole collection. All I have to say is good luck. Because there are a lot of people out there right now that don't understand that these collections are not going for what they used to at all. It's been a pretty heart-wrenching time when I was selling this stuff, but after I started getting to the point that I was almost done with them, I felt this huge relief of I've now dwindled down my collection. I kept all G2. I did not want to sell Generation 2, and I actually had a really, really, really good friend of mine program, Dan. And you guys know him out there. He is one of the coolest guys in the world, and he straight up told me, you don't have to sell your collection to survive. The only thing you have to do is sell off the stuff that doesn't matter. And that's what I did. I sold off all the things that don't really matter much to me. And as I did that, the ball started rolling in the right direction. He did, he shot a little more positive light to me with this. And there's a lot of people out there that probably don't realize this, but I mean, it's very difficult to sell a collection in the first place, especially if you're just trying to, it's like, oh my god, I spent like $75 for this guy, or $25 for that guy, or I got that guy in a lot and I'm not really sure how much it was worth. And then you go through and you start trying to bank it off and pricing here and there, here and there, here and there. I mean, it does become a bit of a nightmare, but I just got to the point I was like, look, I'm selling stuff. I didn't care. So that's kind of how I handled it, and I got rid of it. Now, yeah, I didn't get hardly anything for this stuff, but some of the stuff was custom that I had, some of it wasn't complete, some of it was great, immaculate, and they loved it, whatever. I did not like the idea of selling the stuff, but I did. I got rid of it because mainly it was just becoming work. And also I needed the money at the time to survive. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive, and that's what I did. Yeah, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, but you do have to keep the positive light on it all of where am I going with this? How am I going to use this to my advantage, and what am I going to do with this money after it's over with? So, that's my advice. Keep your heads up about it if you have to. Because I have sold off several different collections before my G1. I sold off like all my classics before, and before that I sold off all my bot shots. And it was mainly because I was trying to dwindle the collection down to what really mattered. And that's what I've done now. My collecting habits have completely changed. Josh asks me, what got me into starting to do YouTube videos? Which, like I kind of explained this before, it's one of those things that I was big into filmmaking, I'm big into that kind of aspect of things, and I really want to see things, survive and things go further than me and bigger than me. And the best way of doing that is by getting my content out there as easily as I possibly can. The thing is a lot of people out there don't realize that a lot of money that is put into any of the YouTube stuff, it's out of my own pocket. I had to purchase my own camera, my own memory cards, computer system, editing software, lights, display, These toys, nothing's been donated. But like, I rarely ever get a donation. Every now and then I do, but not that often. But I mean, this is one of those things, it's little bitty things like that most people don't think about is, you know, all that money goes into making content. I put the content here because I like it. I like doing something cool. I like doing something for you guys. And I like doing something that most people haven't. He also wants to know, where do I see my channel going to in the future? In the future. I see my channel growing. I see it going in a positive direction and going toward a higher thing other than just focusing on just Transformers. That's one big reason why I haven't broke up my channel. There's a lot of people say, why don't you break it up and make a gaming channel? Mainly because I need to center all my content, and on top of that, I've got a very, 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 very small amount of time to be managing more than one YouTube. There's a lot of people out there, I don't think they quite realize that. It takes a lot to pick up this and move this from here to here. I used to have 2 YouTubes. When I first started, I had Fox Firestorm. It's primarily my first YouTube channel I built. I built it primarily to start putting a lot of my short films and stuff like that on from school. And then I transferred all that off that one channel over to Plasticon Studios, because Plasticon Studios is what I've created. It's this entity that has become me, and that's who I am. And it's what I do, it's what I do, build things. I try to make great content for you guys and try to keep putting out the good content and helping you guys out. I want you guys to enjoy what I'm doing. If you don't enjoy what I'm doing, then what's the point? You know what I mean? I will continue to do content, and I do plan on doing some more short films here in the future, but I also have very limited time on what I can do, so that's what I do. Who's your favorite G2 color scheme and why? By my good friend Sergio. I love that guy. By the way, how's Chicago treating you? Now that's a tough one, because when I look at my entire thing here, I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, what would be what's my favorite? We can go by official and unofficial, because I've done a lot of customs of it. I would probably have to go, I'd have to go with G2 Ramjet. I just love Ramjet's colors. He is one of the coolest of the G2 schemes. I like this weird purple. This purple is like a real dark, but it's not really dark. It's almost got like a lightish color slapped into it. On top of this, just really, really, really awesome turquoisey green. And then, you know, his wing just pops off. I mean, I like how this jet looks. I like how the robot looks. I like the idea that they still stuck with silver backed stickers, so it did give it a bit of more of a cool vibe. It's just, I like the scheme, I like the colors. The colors, for some reason I can see this as like a real Air Force jet. I don't know why, but I just can, because it'd be something crazy that we do. Because I've seen jets in real life that were wrapped for air shows that were Air Force jets, but wrapped with like really, really weird schemes. And this right here is something I think that somebody would probably end up doing one day, just because they're a fan of it. Yeah, I would have to say G2 Ramjet is probably my favorite color scheme. That's official. My unofficial, Jaxus. I have not gotten around to doing any reviews. You guys have probably seen pictures of this guy. But Jaxus in G2 was always my favorite. We never got a real toy of. And I made one. And I made it out of a real mold. I didn't go and try to hunt and peck and kick back. No, I just straight up found a mold that would fit him, colored it, and that's what I did. I will end up going on to more of a review with this guy later on, but yeah. Freaking screaming silver with the red, yellow, and the green. It's just something about this screams space jet, and I love it. But then again, if you noticed, I just picked up 2 jets, and I'm bit of an aeronautic nut. I like airplanes. I really like space shuttles too. big fan of space shuttles. Space shuttles are cool! But, you know, I like that kind of thing. Well, it had to be my favorite, really. If I could have one G2 Masterpiece figure that has not been released, who would it be? I would have to say G2 Starscream. Generation 2 Starscream is a no-brainer for everybody right now. I mean, I don't understand why if they're going to milk the mold 3 ways, and then later on give us some weird black and gold colored Starscream, then why not the Generation 2 Starscream? I don't understand this. I don't know if anybody else would probably be on board with me with this, but I mean, to be honest, if you saw a G2 Starscream, I'm pretty sure you see a G2 Ramjet on account of Takara's going to be releasing a Masterpiece Ramjet pretty soon. Well, then that's a no-brainer, people. Get on that. Seriously. Sergio's last question, which is the last question I got for now. What made me start collecting figures? Well, let's see. When I was a kid, I collected a lot of toys. I collected a lot of Transformers, I collected GoBots, I collected just all different kinds of toys. I've always been collecting toys ever since I was a kid. And I really collected a lot of Legos. Lego was like my thing. It was my baby. I loved it. And I love Lego still. But I got to the point that I saw that Lego started flipping into this. It was like about in the mid-90s, they did this cheapo, let's get out of creating big sets, let's make big gigantic blocks you put in and that's it, and that's what makes the front of the car and stuff. And once Lego started doing that, I dipped out of that. I got away from that, and then I got more into collecting G.I. Joe more, and I got more into collecting the some Transformers, and I also started collecting Star Wars. And I kind of just coasted there for a while on that stuff, and I mean, I really did collect a lot of the Micro Machine Star Wars stuff. I had a lot of the action fleet. I almost had the entire collection, like really close to having the entire collection, because I had like every version of the AT-AT Walker. I had almost everything you could possibly get when it came to like variants of the Y-Wing, the X-Wing, the A-Wing, and the Snowspeeder. I really got into those. Those things were awesome. And then I got the Death Star, and I was working on trying to get Yavin and Hoth Base. It was very difficult to find those two at the time. And then I just kind of gave up because, you know, we didn't really have internet at that time, and we just started getting it. And at that point, I was just kind of over collecting for a little bit when it came to that stuff. It was only for like a couple years. And then I got back in when kind of got bit by the bug that everybody else got bit by in the early 2000s with the whole Universe line, with seeing Ruination and then seeing all the different versions of Ruination and then the Universe Micromasters and stuff like that, because those were just like, bam, here's your G1s and G2s you had when you were a kid, but they're released now, again. I was like, holy crap. And I just jumped right back on board again. It was crazy. And that's just kind of how it happened. I really never did stop collecting since I was a kid. It's been kind of in my blood. I mean, I still have my original R2-D2 from the 70s. The 70s, 80s. That genre, that version of R2 with the poofy head and the sticker that likes to fall off. Mine's pretty beat up. Well, you'll end up seeing a review of it one day. Because I'll be getting around to doing that. And another thing, I had a friend of mine ask me, Frank, I believe it was. Yes, Frank. My buddy Frank, he asked me, am I ever going to be doing a review of the Millennium Falcon that I got for Christmas? Yes, I am. But I plan on getting all the parts and stuff and doing a restoration live stream of what I'm going to be doing. And then, after I do the restoration live stream, I'll be doing a straight up review of the toy. But I kind of want to wait until I end up getting a decent Han Solo and a decent Chewbacca figure for it. I just want to be able to have a complete ensemble. I do need to give me a C-3PO to go with my R2-D2, you know. I am looking for those figures, but I don't want to spend the money that some people want for those things, because I've looked at the aftermarket, and there for a while it tanked, but now it's starting to go back up again. And I can't stomach the price for some of these bits and pieces. If any of you guys know anybody out there that can hook me up with like parts to my Millennium Falcon, I can give you a bit of a list here. My list is, I need the 2 ramp arms, I need the radar with the base, I also need the gunner seat with the portion that clicks it in. I do need the chest table, and I do need the floor, the false floor that goes in there as well. I do want a window for the front, but if I can't get the window, I'm not going to be too gutted, because I know the window is very difficult to come by. Other than that, I don't believe there's anything else I need for it. It's very little what I need for it, but I do need those parts to be able to finish it, to do a proper review. I mean, my ramp's in good condition, everything else is in great condition on the toy. It's beautiful, but I want to be able to do that. I have seen reproduction stickers out there, so I will end up doing an entire thing there, because I saw where you can take a little teeny tiny bit of lighter fluid and put it on the old stickers, and they just come right off, clean the lighter fluid off, and then apply the new sticker and you're done. I will end up doing those. I do want you guys to see that. I do have plans though to be doing laser rod restoration video as well. I'm going to be replacing the O-rings on them, because I did purchase some new O-rings for all my laser rods, because I think they all need them. Especially, I think it's Bolt. Is it Bolt? No, Jolt. The orange Ford Rambler thingy. They're all hot rods. But he desperately needs one, because he has, he's the only one that needs to twist all the way around all the time, and I'm afraid that rubber band's gonna snap anytime. Yes, I do want to end up doing a review slash, well, it'll probably be a live thing, because I like to do some live stuff for restorations and things like that, because once you guys see it, and this is what happens, these are the things you can run across as you're trying to do it. So that way you don't end up running into a problem later on, and you can go back and watch stuff like this and be like, okay, this is the quirks I'm going to run into when I get ready to do the restoration myself. I do a lot of customization and stuff, so if you are afraid to do that, feel free to send them to me and I'll fix them, as long as you send me all the bits and pieces you need. I'm not afraid to do that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that are. I mean, obviously, have you guys ever took apart a Fortress Maximus? Because I have. I did an entire custom and turned it into Grand Max and put it back together, and it looked beautiful. And guess what? That was a grueling 4 hours of disassembly and 6 hours of reassembly, and that's not counting painting in between. So that's about a week job, if you think about it. It does take a while to do a Fort Max for a custom. I have yet to do Scorponok as a custom, other than the Black Zurich I sold. That was kind of a handshake custom, because I had a buddy of mine that did a really good job on part of it, sent it to me, and then I finished up the bits and pieces that he didn't do, and then I turned back around and sold it to a friend of mine. That friend of mine did buy the Fort Max and the Black Zurich. Not the Fort Max, but the Grand Max and the Black Zurich. Thank you so much for buying those two, because those two belong together on the shelf, because they look beautiful. Yeah, that's primarily a lot of the things that are going on, some of the Q&A. If you guys want to pop some more questions my direction, you can look me up on Facebook, hit me up there. You can also email me at plasticon1978@gmail.com. And you guys can just stay in touch with me, follow my Twitter and all that, so you can just keep up with some of the stuff I'm doing. I'm always posting photos of things I'm putting together, this, that, or the other, or I'm usually liking crazy things on Facebook, so if you don't like what I'm liking, whatever. Not everybody sees everything the same. Anyhow, I'm gonna finish this Pepsi. I'm gonna catch you guys later. It's been Plasticon. This is me signing off. Peace out, you guys. See you later.